Wilson da Silva is going to be one of the first 100 citizen tourists to launch into space. Wilson's doing this as part of Virgin Galactic's space tourism initiative. He's getting himself into a situation so few have done before. So I want to find out his 3 biggest fears before he makes the suborbital journey. Are you nervous about your body's reaction to zero gravity?
Most of the fears were actually dealt with in this, which was I just wanted to make sure that I performed and I didn't become sick, or because it'd be rather embarrassing to bath in zero G, wouldn't it? Actually, most of the worry seems to be about the newness of the experience. That what you're going to go through is a little bit scary, and when they clang the door behind you in the pod, you realise you're in a rather large piece of machinery. I think 11 tons of machinery and 100 tons of the whole configuration. And it spins around rather fast. So you get a little bit concerned, but no, you do worry about getting sick. And you worry about all sorts of things. You don't want to have a pass out, because if you pass out, you go through something called G-lock, which is gravity-induced loss of consciousness. And that means that you actually haven't got enough blood going to your head, because your heart's not pumping hard enough to get up there.
Are you worried about your safety?
I trust what Virgin Galactic's done a lot of work on this, and the technology looks great. Certainly Rutan has a great track record. But there is a 3% non-return rate from space, so you have to be aware of that. But as I say to my friends, there's a 4.7% non-return rate from climbing Everest, and this is a lot easier than climbing Everest.
Do you have any concerns about the technology?
In October 2007, there was an accident with the testing of the rocket on the ground, which sadly killed 3 engineers. So that was a really sad event, and it does make you think, well, how safe is this? But I think that at the end of the day, when you're developing new technologies, when you're trying out space flight as for the average person, there are going to be hiccups, and there are some risks, and you ought to accept that. But the beginning of the airline industry was exactly the same. People who took flights originally in the early 20s and early 30s were actually taking huge risks, and there were fatalities. Not that people are expecting fatalities, and certainly Virgin Galactic seems to take this very seriously, the safety. But it's a risk you've got to take on board. You're doing something completely different. Part of the reason that these flights get delayed, originally we were talking about a launch in 2008, part of the reason is they're doing something nobody's done before.
Right now, there's no set launch date for the maiden voyage, but Wilson says it could happen in about 2 years. For Discovery News, I'm Kasey-Dee Gardner.